the Bad Warhammer podcast.
Inspirational Blood Angels. Who is Hal? Who am I? I'm a guy, in case anyone was confused, because in the modern day you need to specify. So if you address me by the he pronoun, I'll be okay with that. No problem. Yeah, I'm part of been in the Durban Wargaming Club now probably a good 10, 11, 12 years maybe. Yeah, started 40K, same kind of 10, 12 years ago. Started Blood Angels, transitioned through many other armies and bad decisions, and then bought and sold and bought and sold. And now I've settled back into my good old Red Marines. And so I'm here to talk the good, the bad, and the potentially ugly of our boys in red and gold. Or the codex or the supplement? Yeah. Yeah, so I think like off the bat, obviously I went through the slow leak release or from kind of all the stuff that came on Warhammer Community. Most of it was like, okay, cool. It's nice to get some extra new things. Going through with the rules coming out and kind of just focusing on the rules and just looking at them, probably a little bit of disappointment. I think pretty much most of the unique Marine guys have been rolled into the main Space Marine Codex. A little disappointed, just a bit of the fluff losses in terms of like some stratagems and things like that. But otherwise, then like taking some time, going through the book, looking through it. It's really cool from like a narrative, like casual game perspective. There's a lot of like awesome crusade things that you can build on and very unique things there. So you lost a bit of your uniqueness in the actual like core rules, if you will, but you gained a lot of the like unique fluff in the crusade rules. So kind of half a dozen of this, half of that. So I think it also comes down to the kind of the shift of focus of where Marines are at the moment. So obviously Primaris are a big thing. So that's where most of the rules are going. So for previous Blood, or maybe your classic Marine Blood Angel players, kind of running with the jump packs and things like that. So you've lost a few of the things that you always push for your basic marine, so your death company, like movement shenanigans, your jump pack movement shenanigans, which probably not the healthiest thing for competitive gaming standpoint, but I mean, it was kind of cool to jump your entire army up on turn one and then fly over and jump down and charge people. But it does get a bit wonky, so I can understand the changes there. But yeah, that's the initial thoughts. Mm. Yeah. Inceptors. Inceptors. Yeah. 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 Mm. 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 One. One. There is one. You cannot take a chapter ancient because you would have your sanguinary ancient. So we don't obviously have a first company like chapter ancient. Our veteran ancient would be the sanguinary ancient. That's it's a limitation in the strictest sense of the word, but it really isn't because no one was ever going to run that anyway. So pretty much no real limitations. Yeah, 100% is just keeping kind of the fluff. Yeah. You do, yeah. So Sanguinary Pizza actually an elite version, effectively, of Apothecary. Oh, sorry, not an elite. A HQ Apothecary with one or two extra rules to kind of focus on combat. Mm-hmm. Correct. 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 Or 3+, yeah. Three all the way through 5. Yeah. Correct. So one thing just to caveat on that is that super doctrine, the way it's worded at the moment, and until FAQs come out, um, it only activates, and the same with the stratagems, like that red rampage, it only activates if the assault doctrine is active for the army. So just because your sanguinary priest has like pumped 2 guys onto kind of the assault, or 2 units onto the assault doctrine, doesn't mean all of a sudden you're getting the extra attack and you can use red rampage and get the extra attack or any of that. So it's cool. You're effectively doing it just so you can get the -1 AP for your close combat guys, which is great. I mean, AP -2 chainswords is amazing, especially on turn one. Correct, yeah. So from turn 3 onwards, like your base marine is rocking 4 attacks, your base primaris is doing what, 5 attacks with chainswords and stuff, or maybe 6 attacks with chainswords potentially. Just given, I think the way that so I think maybe like if I go into a bit of a deeper like inside look at the codex, is that a lot of the stuff that's a bit games breaky they've pulled out, which we had in the previous edition. So it's a lot more balanced. So in my mind, looking at that, if I can take a Sanguinary Priest and just pop 10 Sanguinary Guard Assault Doctrine, 10 Death Company Assault Doctrine, turn one, move up 12 inches, move 12 inches again, charge with, I don't know, 7 or 8 attack. Like, it's probably too much. So I think it was done that way intentionally, unless they change the entire way super doctrines work, as in like per unit based as opposed to per army, because all super doctrines are, if your army is an X doctrine, you get your super doctrine. So unless they change the whole way super doctrines work, is that if a unit is under the effect of X doctrine, then it would activate for them. So I don't think they change it. I think it's probably healthy for the game, because it might be a bit too much. Blood Angels end up being this army where, oh cool, I got turn one, just pack up your models and don't bother playing, kind of thing. If they let that kind of thing go on and on and on. But I don't care about being strength 4, strength 5, because I'm wounding on one better. So my basic marine is always wounding you on 3s. I'm going up against a tank with thunder hammers. You can be a titan. I don't really care. I'm wounding you on 3s. Like, you need to be toughness 9 for Blood Angel not to wound you with a thunder hammer or power fist on 3. So like that, I think the +1 to wound in combat is one of the strongest rules for any army at the moment. And that's why I think a lot of the reining in just excessive amounts of attacks has been done. Because if I have a bunch of chainswords and I'm now wounding a tank on 4s and the AP -2, like, I don't really care that I'm not wounding you with thunder hammers. I'll just put so many chainswords into you. You can't roll enough 5+s that your tank won't die, kind of thing. When your chainswords can take out infantry, tanks, heavy infantry, everything, just because of a rule, it gets a lot. Yeah. I mean, that's 4 attacks if you're playing classic Marines. If you're playing Primaris, you're looking at 5 attacks. They come with 2 base, not 1. Yeah, Death Company says I think a 6 with the chainsword or something like that. 2 plus Death Company plus Marine plus chainsword, 5. And then you can Saki powers on top of it, litanies on top of it. When you start stacking all that, yeah, I can get pretty insane. The Sanguinal. Sanguinor. The fly guy. Yeah, I got from he got upgraded after he got downgraded and then got up. I don't know. It's a bit weird. His fifth edition model was like effectively a demon prince, and then he got reined in for, or sorry, seventh edition was a demon prince. His eighth got reined in, and then he went back to a semi mid tier demon prince again now. So he's got scaled up, scaled down, scaled up again. At least he has a fantastic model now. Yeah, Sanguinary God, yeah. No, they're plastic, yeah. Oh, plastic. Sure. The chiseled abs. Yeah, you can take Inferno or Plasma. So I mean, those knights are also hitting you on 4s, so you got a death mark. So you're pretty decent to survive.
Now it looks like there's more.
It's a monologue. Carl only monologue.
Yeah, Carl's monologuing about
Yes, we had a Carl monologue for the last while.
technical difficulties.
Oh god.
Well, we didn't say
Anyway,
anything
this is
important.
what we're doing. Hi everyone, we're back. We're talking about Blood Angels. We're doing that. We're talking about how assault is the way that Blood Angels work.
I'm glad everyone in the chat is paying attention.
Yeah. All the people in chat. All 5 people who are in chat, but only 1 person chats. It's like, anyway, if anyone's there, say hi. We'd like to say hello to you. I don't know why. Why are we so quiet tonight? What did we do wrong?
They hate us, Darren. They hate us.
Yeah.
They just knew I was painting Stormcast. And they're like, done with my life.
Really entertaining, apparently.
Who?
I mean,
Everything that was like, wow,
listening to me
who
fucking-
cares? Who cares about these other people? We got
Yeah.
Carl Johnston. I mean,
We got Carl Johnson. Everyone, we're going to do a quick zoom in on Carl Johnson. Look at
like-
that. Look at that. That's
Oh,
Carl
no.
Johnson with a head floating in front of him and a Darren just below him. Wow, that looks amazing. We're going to stop doing
oh
that.
wow, it's warm tonight. But anyway, okay. But that's cool. At least now we can hear us. So, yeah.
But what have you been up to besides the fact that everyone who's with us now and hearing us, we're going to say thanks to Carl for joining us now. Him and his wife have just moved into a new place, so taking some time out for us to talk about Blood Angels is actually quite a thing. So thanks, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else
we
have
get a
you been
chance to
painting?
talk.
What have you been doing hobby-wise? What you been up to?
So actually, I've been pretty decent with the hobby-wise. So with the move, we kind of ended up being in a little halfway home. So had a fair amount of time to paint and do nothing. So I've been working on my Sigma army, painting far too many drowned zombie chaos guys and drowned zombie doggos. Attempting to, with the codex up and coming, paint my Blood Angels, but it's proving more difficult than expected. Gold and silver and red can be kind of boring to do on a scale of 50 plus models.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So do you have do you still have the models there near you? If you want to show off to some.
I do actually. My zombies, or zombos.
Because this is
Hopefully my camera's decent enough.
pirate themed, right? That's the army.
Yeah, correct. So I've been playing a lot of Total War Warhammer, and they've got obviously the Vampire Coast in there. So I was inspired to make a whole bunch of kind of zombie themed, few Empire guys, and then kind of just like expanded it on that. Got some Chaos Marauders, decided to make them as well. Some Drowned Boys, and then later down the line I'll get some big characters to lead the line, so that I have some kind of hope when I actually play the game to do something other than just put a lot of models on the board and then remove them immediately.
Because that was your named character. I think his
What's
name's
his name? Luther Harkon, isn't he?
Yeah. So that's like my plan. I'm looking at trying to get sort of like a undersea themed dragon mount or something, and then I'll put a converted guy up on top of it, and then make some cool, interesting rules from that Age of Sigmar. There's like a character creator thing that came out in the General's Handbook.
Anvil something?
Yeah.
Apotheosis.
Anvil of Theosis, yeah. That's quite cool things. And then on the other side I've got my undead Bretonians that I need to focus on after that. So surprising amount of Sigmar painting actually, and not a lot of 40k painting.
Well, hopefully we get some.
Dude, the fact that you're getting painting done says a lot more than me.
Hopefully we get some vampire people with the new book. Hopefully around the corner. If not, dark elf type vampire people. So always exciting for new armies. I keep wanting to put my paintbrush in my drink. Never have it on the wrong side.
Yeah, I need to have a dedicated paint water side and a dedicated coffee side, otherwise terrible things happen.
Yep.
Generally, I just drink it in.
And you guys, what have you guys been painting? I haven't caught up with you guys in a while.
Well, Brad's doing the usual, paints all his stuff for his free people.
Yeah, I'm busy. I was doing Stormcast, not Stormcast, I was doing my crew members. So
Okay.
So now I have 4 crew members, all with their pokey sticks. And then now I'm painting up this guy as a... what was the character name again? Not... Cantor? I don't know. I think it's the one that explodes, or can explode itself by dealing mortal wounds to everyone around it. Like, throws potions at itself. So that's my current addition. And then I'm almost done. I need like 4 more crew members. Oh, and I was painting my octopus with a guy underneath. No.
So is that going to be part of the army, or just like a side model?
I was wanting to put him as like a what is the model? It's going to be
The guy who counts the souls.
oh yeah, he's like a he's not the actual model is him having like a lantern that's sucking in souls, and he's like a exorcist or something.
Oh yeah.
And he,
Okay.
and he does like
that's the Sigmarine guy.
yeah, Stigmarine, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So got my different. There's my Cogsmith dude. My counters with his grudge thrower or something. He's a Caradron dude, but he's the Cogsmith. So a bit of conversions inspired by you and your army. So just convert the free peoples out of old models that I have lying about.
Didn't Carl give you some of those old
Oh yeah, a bunch of these are Kyle's or past. They went through Kyle's possession into my possession. Like
Yeah. That tends to be like on a lot of my things. It's like collect too much, and then eventually it's like, God, this is never getting painted. Find someone who will actually do something with it.
So yeah, you even got
Oh, the Fleshtearers, nothing.
the Fleshtearers painted up, and the very friendly looking Drakespawn Knights. These horses bite way more than the riders on top.
Because
They're actually dragons in disguise. Yeah, so that's been quite fun. I'm almost done now. Got like 2 models, and then I have to build 4 more crew members, and then I've painted everything. And then I die.
What's that, 2,000 points?
It's like 1.5 at the moment, because I need a Hurricanum, and there's another... Oh yeah, a Hurricanum, and then like maybe... If I add these heroes, then I'm like done. But I could add the Gyrocopter, or I could add another, like a steam tank or something. So I'm like... There's like 400 points of like flexibility at the moment, which is being filled with Stormcast heroes. They're like, oh, this could be a Stormcast hero if I could add it.
The poster boys. Gotta have some poster boys in the army.
Very much, yeah. Oh, this guy could be...
And they're in theme with our current obviously topic. How are the Fleshtearers coming along?
Well, that's the problem. They're not really.
I mean, they're growing.
Yeah, they're growing in mass, but being painted, we're getting a lot of them. There's a lot of Fleshtearers in it. I've got a gladiator. I'm very happy. It's not very Fleshtear-y, but I mean, imagine the gladiator tank in black and red. That's just some kind of sexy.
I mean, just put like some chains and cogs and spiky bits on the front, and I mean,
And then we're going. Then we're
pretty
fine.
Fleshtear.
Exactly.
I'd see them ramming that into something.
Exactly. These guys are the epitome of the drive me closer so I can hit it kind of mentality.
100%.
Yeah.
And in fact, they just use it as a launching pad.
That's all it
Just
is.
jump off the top front of the tank.
I'm so angry. They make me angry.
So are they? They're for the Imperium,
They fought the Imperium.
but they're like,
But they
after we
can't
eat you
use
and
it.
drink you and eat your
Yes.
blood.
The thing is that every time they had the Inquisition kind of got very interested in what they were doing, they ended up being very useful. So people left them alone. Yeah.
In the actual supplement, there's they know that thing they started the Psychic Awakening with the little like excerpts of like reports from Imperial citizens, and like they hinted at Fulgrim and things like that. In the Blood Angel one, they go through it and it's like, oh, we saved, it was great, and the angels came down and saved us, until they started feasting on the enemies, and it's like, but they didn't stop. ... Like,
Yeah.
it sounds like Fleshtear to me. That's about right.
They got a little bit crazy. Oh, but they're fun though. Also, crazy things, if you take Gabriel Seth, if you use him, good old normal non-Primaris guy, and you let him launch into a unit of whatever, and then have a Sanguinary Priest nearby, pop the stratagem and just let the assault things go on, you're looking at like a strength 7, 8 to 10 attacks, minus 3 AP, 2 to 3 damage apiece. Fun times. I mean, he's just insane. He's like this little chaos monster of
He's a chubby boy.
yeah, he's just an angry boy with a very big chainsword going whirlwinding through everyone. Yeah.
And he came in really good on the points cost. Like a lot of Blood Angel characters got a little bit of like a points bump. I think he was like one of the few that pretty much didn't change, and then his rules stayed pretty like consistent as well. So he like, for chapter master, it came out really nice.
He came out. And it's funny because he's just this bold, angry dude. It's like every character always has like a special kind of thing to them. You know, they have like a calling card. Faber Smile's got his thing over his head. Corbulo has half a mask, you know. Everyone has their own kind of look to them, so you recognize they're there. He just looks like a basic Marine. He's bald, he He has an iron halo on his backpack. The only thing that really makes him look different is the fact that he's got a massive chainsaw. That's it.
Oh, he's got the executioner or something.
Yeah, he's got a full-on executioner.
Yeah. It's like a beefed up executioner blade.
Yeah.
That's it. Or a relic executioner blade, effectively.
Yeah. It's like you watched a bunch of those, what's the sisters that run the eviscerators? The Repentures. It's like you saw them and thought, that's a great idea. I want to do that.
They have like a bodyguard unit of Repentia just rocking with them.
Yeah. So what's your fun / competitive / aiming for Blood Angels 2020 list? What are you going for?
Oh, I think it changes. Like if it's a fun list, or when I say fun, like I'm really enjoying I started with the Crusade system, and I kind of been doing it with my Death Guard mainly, and then Blood Angels, when the Space Marine Codex released, I started a Crusade kind of army with that. So for fun, kind of that's what I'm going, and I've made it very fluffy. So kind of like a second company, which is more classic Marines.
Yeah.
So a death company and stuff like that. And they're almost kind of like on the outs, about to be kind of killed off kind of vibe. And then I've got my like third company who are like the new shiny boys, if you will. So it's mainly from like Primaris troops, some Sanguinary Guard. So it's like the kind of the two different forces, like the death company force that you send to places and against people where you shouldn't have allies or whatever. Because obviously Blood Angels don't want people to know about the flaw, like fluff-wise. And then my Primaris Sanguinary Guard kind of army or force, if you will, is kind of like the poster boys. They arrive at the Imperial Bastion, greet the Imperial Commander, ask where do you need help, and go from there. So that's like my two kind of fluff armies, if you will. And if you go to probably competitive, if I'm looking at a kind of what I'd maybe start looking at tournaments and bring tournament vibe, it's probably going to be a combination of Sanguinary Guard and Death Company. Death Company have the stratagems still to a nice degree to kind of push up the board, and they can use it on their dreadnoughts now as well, so I can get like a 12-inch movement on my Death Company dreadnoughts before the game begins, so I can like really bully the middle of the board kind of with some dreadnoughts. And then the Sanguinary Guard are kind of they lost one of their stratagems that made them really strong in the previous when we went from kind of the FAQ to this like Codex supplement, so we don't get the rerolls there. But just in terms of the 2+ armor, the weapons and stuff like that, they'll kind of be my force that I'll keep in reserve and probably bring down turn 2, maybe push it out to 3, and just kind of reinforce wherever I need. That's kind of what I'm looking at competitive. So Death Company, some Dreadnoughts, Sanguinary Guard, and then just because I like jump packs, Assault Marines. I'm not really a Primaris jump pack fan. I think they're a shooty unit the Primaris jump pack. So a shooty unit in an army where I want to be in combat. So they've got the movement to be in combat, but they don't have backup to be in combat. Then if I take the guns, I'm like, I might as well take infantry with guns.
Would those be the ones we spoke about earlier, the Inceptors or whatever, the ones
the
backwards?
Yeah. It's like if you play them Dark Angels and stuff, and you've got the plasma, and you can make damage 3 plasmas and things like that, they're really good. But for Blood Angels, personally, I want my jump pack stuff engaged. I want it to be taking guys off objectives. I want it pushing up the board. Like a few of the Blood Angel secondaries are very take things out with jump packs, deep strike, etc., etc. So I probably want to use it with that.
Yeah, because that's one of those are the secondaries. Always something we have to look out for with each codex. Because the current ones, the ones for Blood Angels are your captain. You challenge someone. So it's like you challenge someone. If you kill him, you get points. If you kill him with your character, you get a point. If you kill him with close combat, you get 5 points, 5 points, 5 points. Or hold him for every unit that's in the opponent's deployment zone, or every squad if you have more squads or something, or 2 squads. And then there's the murder something with the Death Company, I think is also, which also seems to be like they seem to be working along with what the Blood Angels want to do. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so straight off the bat, a lot of people kind of when the original rules came out, they said, oh yeah, you know, the Codex, you lost a bit disappointing. The rules are still a solid set of rules. The fact that you have access to the Space Marine Codex, I mean, puts us in the top tier just by merit of being a Space Marine Codex now and not a kind of hanger-on the side. And they kind of went on and on. Oh, the secondaries are really good, amazing, da da da. So if you build around them, yeah, I agree, you can. But I'm not super sold on them. There are one or two that I'll probably take over the base just because the options for secondaries in the base rules are a little lacking for assault armies. So it's nice to have something that actually you can get stuck in with your assault stuff and not feel that, oh, okay, I'm losing points because I'm not sitting back raising banners and
Well, that's the thing.
hacking
The
streams or whatever they're called.
their one specifically, their secondary is like battlefield supremacy. That's awesome. Score 4 points at the end of your turn if there are more Blood Angels units in your army in the enemy deployment zone than they have units in your deployment zone. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Doing that per turn,
Yeah, I think-
smashing face with that thing, that's clever because you've got your jump packs. So you can hit your 15 in four
Four
turns.
turns, yeah. So
Which is
it's
lacking.
from turn,
Yeah.
probably turn 2 because you probably weren't. Oh,
No,
it's from. When is it?
Limited to
When do you score that?
at the end of your turn.
End of your turn.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you could do
can
it
score
turn 1.
Turn 1, which is nice. So you start smacking face, get your jump packs over into his. Anything that over, you know, that's even something nice to have for a second turn play. I mean, turn 2, you know, going second.
Yeah.
That's a nice play for that because he's overstepped the line. You shoot the hell out of everything there or smack whatever out of it that oversteps there. And then send all your jump forces into the back. That's very nice. Or your barks. Using Outriders in Blood Angels, I think, is an amazing idea.
Yeah. So I think if you're gonna play there's obviously the two main like factions in the Codex are Blood Angels and then Fleshtearers. If you're playing a deep strike heavy army, you're gonna play Blood Angels for the +1 to your charge. If you're gonna go a Primaris, more like have the Outriders, have the Assault Intercessors and things like that. I think actually the Fleshtearers come out better there because they don't need the +1. If your Assault Intercessors are in a transport, I mean, you're probably like 4 or 5 inches away maybe. You got the barks, they're going to be wherever they need to charge. So it's cool that there's a uniqueness to the two types of armies in the book. So they can feel very like unique. Whereas before it was kind of like Fleshtearers were just, okay, you had a tack on of the Blood Angel rule, but you didn't get anything else. It's like, it was a bit disappointing. So I think in terms of like real winners out of this particular codex, definitely the Fleshtearers are got fleshed out.
Yeah. Well said. Let's see, we got Travis who's popped up in there. The other Blood Angel there. Good to see Travis. Yeah.
So
what kind of list are you going to be building, Travis?
And Carl, so who are your who would you say? I think we probably covered this a bit, but your winning unit in the codex from previous. So like, did any unit get the most improved award? Did anything?
I think there was pretty much no change from the FAQ to this this supplement in terms of rules, like unit rules and unit stuff. So I think in terms of like the supplement change, it's mainly the stratagems, all of that kind of stuff. So maybe in terms of units improved, I'd say maybe from the index phase to this like FAQ supplement.
Sorry, I was just thinking.
Yeah, It's probably the captains who can take death visions and things like that now. It's a really cool fluffy thing, and also it just adds a layer on, again, going back to your smart captains really, of kind of buffing them up without them needing psychic buffs, chaplain buffs, all that kind of stuff. They can actually like get buffed just for the fact that they're a Death Company character, which is kind of cool.
So these death visions, how does that work?
Death visions is pretty cool. You, any person, first of all, if you want someone to become Death Company, you can either upgrade a lieutenant or a captain. They cost different points, and they get the Death Visions and the Black Rage ability. 20 points for a captain, 10 points for a lieutenant. What happens is Black Rage gives you the following. You cannot fall back. If you fight, melee charge, whatever, add 1 to attack's characteristics. Now keep in mind, that's cumulative with the original Space Marine ability anyway. So it's already +2 to their attacks. If they would lose a wound, roll a d6. On a 6, it's ignored. And then they can't perform any actions. So
that's like a thing with all of the murder people.
All the Black Rage.
All the Black Rage people.
Black Rage
Yeah.
guys, which is Death Company guys.
Can't capture things, can't...
So,
Yeah.
Death Visions, on the other hand, once per battle, when you choose to fight, it can use one of the Death Visions below. The same Death Vision cannot be used more than once per battle. The one is on the Bridge of the Vengeful Spirit, which is basically when Horus went and gave Sanguinus a good little cuddle.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So they remember that, oh,
Yeah.
that was painful.
Add 1 to the attack for every 5 enemy models that are within 6 inches of you.
So
So
this,
if you jump into a horde, do that, plus 1 attack to that character.
so you can declare this, any of these,
You
right?
choose which death one when you select it to fight.
So once per battle, each one is like,
Yeah.
so cross. So you just, and yeah, this specific one is now. So it's kind of, it's a play on the Space Wolves
Sagas.
sagas.
Yes.
It's a kind of that sort of play.
But the thing is, Sagas activate a bonus aura, which stays then permanently on for the rest
This
of
is
This
just-
lasts for that one fight phase.
This dude is so
Yeah.
upset about his boss
Angel,
being shot in the face.
when it uses a death vision, it gets a 3+ invulnerable,
Okay.
right? And then you get the last one is to slay the War Master, which is against infantry character or monster character models. Both players roll off. If you win, select one of those enemy models. That model suffers D3+3 mortal wounds just immediately.
What's the fluff behind that?
To slay the War Master. It's as if they were charging Horus himself.
Okay, they just get really upset,
Yeah.
kind of waving around.
And then so you roll off. If you win, D3+3 mortal wounds.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
You know what's really fun though? Is take your dude and use the stratagem which allows you to use 2 death visions in one fight phase.
On the same dude.
On the same guy.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you declare that mortal wound one at the beginning or at the end?
You choose which one.
I mean, but
Before the fight phase.
before the fight phase. Okay,
Before
so
the
you can't
fight
just be like,
starts.
oh, it didn't kill you. Explode.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the D3+3 mortal wounds is instead of attacking.
Oh, is it instead of attacking?
Okay.
Yeah.
But at least at the start, so if
You're
you're
not making any attacks
is
yet.
it either player's turn? Is that combat phase, not your combat phase?
That's hectic. That's when they get selected to fight.
Oh, when they get selected to fight, okay.
See, that's a problem because if you lose the roll off,
He just gets
instead
sad.
of making attacks to that fight, both players roll off. If you lose the roll off, he stands there. He doesn't attack.
Yeah.
So I think personally the cool thing that I like about this one is not to necessarily use them to hunt down characters, because the D3+3 mortal wounds, you're probably not killing any characters that are important, and you're definitely not killing any monsters, so they're going to hit you back. But there's a Blood Angel stratagem where you can make all units in engagement range have to attack the character that you play this on. So you kind of run in with the squad of Death Company, and the Death Company hits, say, like a fairly decent close combat unit, like, I don't know, Grey Knight Paladins or like Custodes Barkers or whatever. And then you throw the Death Company captain in, and then you pop. Now, whatever unit you're fighting is fairly large. Usually, what happens is they'll go and kill or say you get charged, they'll kill the Death Company because the Death Company do more attacks, and then your character is left by himself. What you do is you pop the stratagem that no, you can only attack the Death Company captain. Then you use this Death Vision to give him extra attacks because he's surrounded, and then you give him the 3+ invul. So he sits there tanking all the hits, takes a bunch of hits on his 3+ invul. Any go through, then you roll your 6+ feel no pain. If you want to use more stratagem, you can make it 5+ feel no pain. If you want to give him relics, you can also make it a 5+ feel no pain. So he tanks it for the Death Company, and then the Death Company can chew through what's ever left, and then he still gets to attack. So it's like a nice way that your characters can be these like speed bumps without your units having to take the hits, because like losing Death Company sucks. You're paying like 25, 26, 27 points a model, and that's 6 attacks. Like they're hectic when they hit, but also when I'm losing a guy, it's a lot of attacks to lose.
Right.
I like that. It's also I find very fluffy. It's kind of, it doesn't reduce what the rest of your army is doing. It turns your characters into fun, but they're not like smash hammers like they were before, where you're like, this is the only way I'm going to win the game. It allows you to actually win with the other models and distract, I guess.
Yeah.
Travis had a Blood Angel Combat Patrol victory today. Thank you. Well done, Travis. You've supported the Blood Angels Day today. Also, today is Day of Reconciliation in South Africa.
It was also tabled. So
yes, but that's the caveat. He was also tabled. So, still win, but tabled. That just tells you how 9th edition is right now. Play the points. One of the things I want to try out is I want to make a chaplain on Bark. Well, you saw my conversion I did. But I want to have a chaplain on Bark, and I want to give him the Visage of Death, and I want him to run around scaring everyone.
Bugger.
Basically, I mean, any enemy unit is within 3 inches of the model, they lose objective security.
Oh, cool. So it just runs on the point, like, no, you don't
Sorry.
hold this point. That's fun.
So he's just, and whenever they try and make a melee attack against him, -1 from the attack's hit roll. So have a chaplain running around with that relic. Can you ready to smash your face? Because chaplains are pretty smash facey. Have him screaming prayers at you, and then, can't hit me, and you're too scared. You're not doing the work you're supposed to be doing.
Because that's great. Because then, if you, at the beginning of their turn, they claim their points and stuff, so you just scared them off of it.
Exactly.
So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so the one thing I like about that is like the way I play my Blood Angels is I play with I don't really play with a lot of troops. So like, I've got like minimum 5-man squad troops on like 2 patrols. So it really helps, especially if we're going like competitive scene where my assault marines now all of a sudden become objective holders. Because wherever I need, I've got 10 assault marines. Okay, you've got 5 tactical marines. Normally you'd hold it over me. Throw my character up there with that relic on. You're no longer objective secured. Take it from my assault, or my assault marines take it from you. And you're probably not going to kill enough assault marines that I'm not going to hold that objective next turn. So it's like a really, really cool relic for people who don't want to take kind of big hordes of troops, which is quite unique in the like 9th edition scene.
Yeah, that's very cool.
One of my other favourite models in here, or favourite units, which I definitely want to see what I have, is Death Company Dreadnought. Definitely.
You get your own murder fang. Or in this
basically,
case, murder.
It's a murder fang,
Death.
murder with more with
Rage,
death fang.
rage, death.
Well, no, he's got Furioso fists that you can replace with blood talons.
Has he come anywhere near his old gloriness that was blender hands?
Blender hand.
It never should. It never should.
Well, dude, blood talons are great.
Brandon was, when we first started, and it was 5th edition Blender Hands, Brandon was on the verge of never playing again because of a single Death Company Dreadnought that every single game chewed through like 70 plus boys all by itself. It was definitely too much. Definitely too much.
I'm just liking the idea of having this big boxy boy running up the board with Oh, strength 10, minus 2 AP, 3 damage. Yeah, and you can reroll the wound every time he makes a
damage.
wound roll. And then, because he's Fleshtearers, every 6 makes an extra AP, so it's minus 3 AP. And because he's Blood Angels, it's extra attacks. And because, it just seems like fun.
Yeah, that's...
And he's a boxy boy, so minus 1 from the damage.
I think it's just really cool that that they've simultaneously nerfed and brought things back to like fluff wise, based on like also giving you multiple options to play the army, and that shows like hopefully we'll see that we wait for the next codex to come, like which is probably a supplement and then Dark Elder at some point.
Well, that's the thing. The next codex is
So Dark Angels and then Dark Elder.
Angels and Dark Elder.
Yeah, Death Guard.
Death Guard, Dark Angels, Dark Elders. Triple D is coming. Good
So that'd be fun, and we get to see what taste the Elder get, which I'm excited for, even if it's the Dark Cousins.
I'm super excited for Death Guard. Super, not because I played Death Guard, but because it's going to tell me what my chaos dex is going to feel like. That's the interesting part.
Carl, you also used to have Death Guard. Do you still have Death Guard? Did you have Death Guard?
Yeah, I still got my Death Guard. I've actually expanded on my Death Guard as of recently. Bought some of those little Mephitic Blightfallers, added them in. Probably need to get another Plague Burst Caller at some point. So I'm keen for Death Guard as well. It's kind of the same vein of the Blood Angels though. It's like kind of GW slow leaking, reading some of the things and being like, why are you doing that to my army? I'm not 100% on board with that. But again, it's like I'm keen to get the codex, get a feel for it, and then really like test it out, because I do think that with these rules release, it's like if you're like someone who's avid and enjoys and who love your army, you kind of always see what you lost. You're like, I lost this, I lost that. But when you start looking in like kind of like the bones of the rules and stuff, it's like, cool, I see why I lost it, because it would get a bit out of hand. And then by the same token, you see all the cool stuff that they've added, the fluff stuff. And as someone like, I love fluff. I mean, my bookshelf is literally nothing but Games Workshop. So I love the fluff, and I like the fact that these books are putting in rules like the floor and things like that, and the Black Rage, and really fleshing out the core like fluff of what an army is. So I'm really keen to see what they do with all the armies, because it's going to be really cool to see the very unique Xenos things.
Definitely.
Well, we're pretty much reaching the end of the stream today. You got anything else you want to mention there, Brad?
No, it's just thanks for joining us, Carl. It's always great chatting.
Thanks very much. Thanks everyone who joined us this evening.
We should be
doing our last one for the year next week.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So join us for the Christmas one, because we're going to do some Christmas stuff.
We'll have hats and stuff.
Yeah, we'll have hats and then do nothing else that's Christmas Eve during the whole event.
Yeah,
yes.
And if you're still looking for merch, our merch is still open.
Oh yeah?
For
we've got some merch
the Unseen
Shop.
Do some
Not
shops,
for us,
not for Bad
unfortunately.
Warhammer, but we will have some stickers there at some point as well, I believe. I've lost track of things, but 24th of December is the end of that, and hopefully in the new year, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be getting back to, I don't know, we'll see how the world works in the next couple of weeks. But thanks for joining, Carl.
Yeah, thanks for joining, bud.
No, it's a pleasure. And the most important thing to end it off, happy Sanguinella to everyone.
Yes.
If you don't know what that is, Google it, it'll be worth it.
Yes, happy Sanguinala, everyone, and have a safe one. Everyone stay safe. If you're in South Coast, please stay home. Please don't go out. Please stop spreading this virus.
If only I could
Nurgle
spell
is happy, we'll
Sanguinella.
realize. Yeah.
Oh,
Anyways,
I'll probably even pronounce it wrong.
Sanguinala.
Yeah, I got it. It's
There
Google
we
autocorrected.
Got it.
Yeah, look at that. That's funny.
Yes, also go look at the regimental standard. They got a fun one on there. Good times.
16th of December, special day for the Blood Angels.
Nice. What, the day that Sanguinus...
I don't know.
It's the day of remembrance for Sanguinus in the Empire. Or the Imperium, should I say, not the Empire.
We remember that he had wings.
He once was
Yeah.
fappy, now he's not so fappy.
Anyways, guys, thanks very much. Stay safe.
Cheers.
No problem. Are we making noises at people still or not?